The warrior spirit. Everyone wants to love them so much, with its luscious yet grisly fur and those perfectly sharpened claws that just beg for a tender embrace into the soft flesh of our enemies. But they're just so very bad. Why? Hello everyone, my name is Kip Creeds, and today we're talking Bad Bear Gloves. So, the warrior spirit is almost unanimously considered to be the heavy's worst melee, and one of his worst weapons in general. But the question is, where did it go so wrong? What about the warrior spirit is just so bad that it's just completely unusable? Well, I believe the answer falls into three categories: bad stats, bad use, and bad psychology, and I'm going to explain them all right here. So to start things off, we're going to talk stats. The warrior spirit is a double-edged sword, increasing damage dealt and taken by 30% while the gloves are active. This is a major problem, as even in one-on-one encounters in which the enemy only has the stock melee, they can match your damage output, and in every other situation, you don't really have any advantage. Even the boost is almost worthless, as 85 isn't big enough to truly matter in any engagement. The stock might only do 65, but it'll do the same job in the same amount of hits on light classes, and in solid or heavy you only need one extra hit, which is far more likely to land due to you not taking an excessive amount of damage as you do from the warrior spirit. And then there's the completely worthless plus 50 health gained on kill. It's just sad to think about, really. Even if you only get tagged by one stock melee hit, that's still 85 off your health bar, and the region doesn't even make that up, leaving you at a net loss of 35 HP. The healing is a nigh worthless upside that only serves to trick you into a risk you shouldn't take in the first place. Which leads me to my next point. The warrior spirit is meant to emphasize a high risk reward system of play, but doesn't fulfill in that role. It's dependent on you going toe-to-toe with foes in melee fights, which is something the heavy simply cannot do. Being the slowest class, you're simply not going to get to chase people down and put the beat down on them. And trying to flank as heavy is about the same thing as trying to sneak through the TSA dressed as a bomb. Even if you manage to get close, unless that first swing takes them down, all the enemy needs to do is back up just out of melee range and do the obvious: shoot you until you're dead. And that leaves only one more option: to let the enemy come to you. And even then, there's still one big problem with that. You are a big man who makes a big impression, especially when you're close to the enemy. And anyone who knows anything about TF2 knows that it's a bad idea to be close to the heavy. Close range is the deadly zone in any encounter, but when there's a 300 HP dude pumping 540 damage at you, you are going to back the hell off and target at range where it is far safer. So even then, most people know not to get close enough to the heavy to even allow him to be able to use those sort of options. So even if you were to decide to use the warrior spirit, chances are no one's going to get close enough to you to really let you do that. Right? So, the warrior spirit has a bad design that gives no incentive to use it. It doesn't help overcome the difficulty of using melee as heavy, nor allow the enemy to get closer to the heavy. Well, not exactly. See, there's actually one thing the warrior spirit is good for. The thing is, ultimately, it is bad as a weapon and doesn't really fulfill any sort of need or cover any weakness or strength of the heavy. Everyone stays away, except sometimes when they see a warrior spirit, they'll actually get close. The thing is using bad weapons is a quick way for people to look at you and say they don't know what they're doing, so I'm just gonna go and fuck with them. And that setup can be a great trap, meaning you won't have to chase down what comes right up to you. And the bare hands are especially good at dealing with people at close range, such as spies trying to sneak up on you, as the increased damage can likely drop them off the spot. And if you're quick, you can use it as a decent combo weapon, allowing you to come in close, take a quick pop, and switch to something like your Tommy Slab or shotgun, and give them a good finishing. It's a good combo weapon with a lot of higher close range power if you know how to handle it right. But other than that, it's really hard to actually justify using in any particular situation. So there you have it, folks. The warrior spirit and why it's bad. Normally I would try to come up with a fix, but the thing is, the warrior spirit isn't just bad because of bad stats, as I've demonstrated. It's bad because Heavy's bad at melee, and that's fine. It's a perfectly fun weapon to mess around with, and used correctly it can be a surprising tactic for a little bit, but ultimately doesn't have any utility, and its power is far too lacking to make it a serious contender. It's fun, but there's just no reason to really try to seriously use it. And so because of that, it does fall into the lowest of the low of heavy melees. Anyway, that's all I have for this video, and I hope you found it enjoyable and informative. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.